Hello there. Today I'm trying a sweet wine. This is a wine from Sauternes, and this is Chateau Filhot. It's the 2020 vintage of that. It's in a half bottle. And Chateau Filhot is a deuxième cru from the commune of Sauternes, second growth. So Filhot's history goes back to 1630, I believe, between the period between 1630 and 1650, when Romain de Filhot planted the vineyards here. Subsequently, the estate was inherited in 1840 by the Lur-Saluces family. The Lur-Saluces are known for having controlled Yquem for a very long period pretty much throughout the 20th century and into the 21st. So an important family in the Sauternes region. And the Lur-Saluces expanded the vineyards here. They built the beautiful chateau. I mean, Filhot's chateau is one of the largest and grandest in the Sauternes region. They landscaped the gardens. In 1855, the estate was classified as a second growth in the classification of the Médoc and Sauternes. Eventually, in the 1970s, the estate came into the hands of the Vaucelles family, and today Henri Vaucelles and his son Gabriel own and manage the estate. And the estate is quite large. It's 350 hectares, of which 62 hectares are vineyards. The planting is predominantly Semillon, that's about 60%, with 36% of Sauvignon Blanc and 4% of Muscadel planted. The estate lies to the south of the village of Sauternes itself, and is bordered in part by the Landes forest, and the river Seron runs nearby to provide humidity to allow botrytis to occur regularly. The vineyards here are south or southwest facing, and there's a mixture of gravel soils, sandy soils and clay soils all over a calcareous base, so limestone, I assume. When it comes to winemaking, the fruit is all hand-picked. Obviously, this is Sauternes, and so the approach is that's traditional in this region, to go through the vineyard in passes and only pick the berries that are affected by botrytis. So yes, picking by what they call trees passes through the vineyard. Fermentation takes place in stainless steel tanks, and fermentation temperatures are allowed to go up to 19 to sort of 21 degrees, so about the sort of level that you'd get with a barrel fermentation, all in stainless steel temperature controlled tanks. And depending on the different lots, the varieties, the concentration of them, fermentation can last from anywhere between 10 to 30 days. I guess lots with very high sugar will take a long time to ferment. They may take some time to get going. After 10 months, the wine is lightly filtered, and that's the only filtration it receives. It's not sterile filtered into bottle. After 14 months, blending takes place, and the wine will spend 2 years aging in the cellars, and it ages in a mixture of both vats and barrel. Of those barrels, a third of those are new every year, so those are French Allier oak, almost certainly barriques, 225 litre barrels. And the wine is finally bottled somewhere in the region about 24 months after fermentation. I understand the final blend of this wine was 50% Semillon, with 40% of Sauvignon Blanc and 10% of Muscadel. So let's have a look at the wine, shall we? For a Sauternes, still quite young, it doesn't have particularly deep colour. It's a medium to deepish yellow. There are perhaps slightly bronze hints to it as I swell it. The wine has high sugar and it's got 13.5% alcohol, so it's sticking fairly readily to the glass there and forming tears, forming quite thick syrupy tears actually. So let's see what we make of the aromas, shall we? That's a wonderfully hedonistic, it's an almost pure pineapple aroma. There might be toasty notes behind it. There may be rich peach juice, but the thing that draws me straight away is that pineapple. It's the lovely tropical richness, perhaps a hint of mango. There really is a lovely ripe tropical fruit there. So let's for taste. Instantly you see that's very sweet. The wine's a midweight, it's not a huge syrupy wine. I mean, there are some syrupy notes later, but they're quite delicate. you have a sort of a honeyed note to begin with. You have some of that pineapple note and all those sort of lovely rich peach juice, mango notes. As I say, there's touches of honey, but you're starting to see some of the barrel character coming in there with some almost toasty notes. They're actually manifesting themselves sort of as marzipan, because there's a textural thing as well. The acidity is keeping all this nicely balanced. There's a lovely freshness. I was talking about the fact that there is a sort of a slightly syrupy nature later on in the palate, but still the finish is coming out sort of just a tiny touch sweet, but lovely and clean. It's not in any way cloying, so the syrupy nature is not manifesting itself at that stage. There's enough to keep the finish fresh. The alcohol's giving a little bit of warmth to the back palate. The finish has pretty reasonable length, and I'm left with that sort of honeyed mango, pineapple, peach sort of richness and ripeness. As Sauternes go, this is not a huge wine, but it's got a nice elegance, a nice balance. The sweetness is clean. I note that the Wine Searcher aggregated score on this is 90, which I think is fair to a point. I think perhaps this wine has got a little bit more freshness, elegance and finesse than that score seems to give it credit for. It's still a young wine. It has this lovely concentration and balance. I don't have any notes to tell me quite how sweet it is. I should imagine it's sort of a little over 100 grams per litre sugar. But although the sugar is still noticeable on the finish, as I say, the fact that the finish is so lovely and clean and fresh makes it a delight to drink. The wine will probably age for 10 to 15 years very happily, probably longer. But actually, it's got such nice, elegant poise now that I don't think you'd object to drinking it a little younger than that. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the tasting. If you have, do please press the like button. If you'd like to watch more of the tastings, do please sign up and follow us on YouTube. That would be fantastic to have your subscription. We'd love your support. Any comments you have, please leave those in the box below. It would be fantastic to hear your feedback on the wines we're looking at, the tastings we're doing, or anything else related to that. If you have friends you think might be interested in watching the video, do please pass it on. I will leave a link to this wine on the Wine Searcher website in the notes below. If you follow that, you'll be able to see pricing, you'll be able to see the scores, because those may change as new scores come in, and you'll be able to see where the wine's available. Also, if you look at the profile tab, you'll find information about the wines, and there's a pricing history and things like that as well too. So thank you very much for joining us. I do hope you'll take some time soon and come and watch another tasting with us. Thanks again. Bye for now.